once again today to actually deliver a stream of Orb on the Moons of the Earth, the anime series. Are we good to go? We certainly are. So yes, Direction Arc episode 9, I say word today, of Orb on the Moons of the Earth, the anime series. As episode 8 was the beginning of Count Pius's actual backstory. And I'm guessing maybe half episode will be about that, and then subsequently the end of will be like the moment I was like, whoa, I need to see this animated when I was reading it. Because I thought maybe the whole episode would be Pius's backstory, but apparently not. It's actually just a part of it. So kind of leaves me to wonder how they're going to end this core, because there is a good point to end on, and to go a bit further would be kind of weird. So I guess we'll see. But I'm kind of interested to see how they adapt the panel I've been waiting to see actually. So anyways, actually put on Twitter actually gone live. As I always say before I forget to. Right, so streaming. Come by and get comfy as we watch some more Orb. Right. How about that? We actually are good to go. Let's me move the dashboard to the dashboard. Let me put that there. Let me leave that there. So it's shown a run. Let's actually start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. Actually worked that time. Holy shit. Had a bad instance with the timer recently. For some reason, the timer won't start. Actually worked the first time. I said I thought this would be the whole entire episode, but I was wrong. I feel like bringing a candle into that kind of room would be fucking terrifying. It's just one force moving like oop, and then just the whole entire thing goes up in flames. You could say technically he was completely locked in during that time. It is quite interesting though, the way they kind of deal with the idea of like achieving truth in a way. Like in essence, how it's not just one person who does it. Essentially, it's a group. It's more than one person, which I kind of like about this show as well, because it doesn't focus on just one person, how other shows do tend to. Because 9 out of 10 times, other shows do always focus on the character who's the pinnacle point of the theory or anything else like that. But this show does, in theory, look at it. Pardon the pun. Just realized I said in theory. This one looks at it in a way that says it's more than just one person that got to that point, essentially. Uh oh. must be really soul crushing to actually like do all of that and never be able to actually completely reach your goal as well. Like devoting pretty much everything to it. Because this sort of then circles back to like the main overarching thing I was saying earlier on. That it's not just one person. Okay, all right, Madhouse, all right. I see we've gone a bit better this week. I get it. To be honest. So yeah, what I kind of feel like this show does in theory do, it doesn't diminish the work the person put into like their theory or their overarching hypothesis in a way, which I guess is actually the same thing. Um, they don't diminish it. They say that this character might never have reached the truth they wanted, effectively. But what they did in theory do, they provided enough material, enough history to actually then go forward with, to actually then reach that theory, essentially reach that completion. Which is what I like about the show because again, 9 out of 10 times secondary characters in shows like this aren't always the more important part. It's 9 out of 10 times the person that the series is based upon that you actually do in theory follow, and you actually see their life. But this show does it in such a way that each character plays a pivotal role in perfecting what's going on here. And it's one of those things you don't see it too often because again, even biopics do it in film. Biopics always focus on either one character or a small group of characters. It's never this expansive. This one has like history upon history upon history to actually get to that point, essentially. Which is what I like about this show a lot because it's one of those things that this show could have been great if it just focused on one or two characters, but this show goes above and beyond to actually be about more than just that, but more than just a small amount of characters. If I can say words today, my god, can't say words. Oh shit. Oh shit. Don't don't tell anyone else about that. They'll be like, ah, bro, that's not. We don't like to tell that one. I will say the production's episode actually is a lot better. Like, there's not really any like weird moments. I mean, the only one was probably Past in the Past, where it had that one shot of it's completely still, but it's not really that much of a problem. Besides that, it looks really nice. This episode, it's more on par with with the prior arc. Because technically speaking, this doesn't just like diminish one theory. It's actually kind of almost breaks breaks a lot of things that actually have been brought up in this world. Those I can't say words thus far, because you have the whole entire thing. If you actually see Venus, you also then kind of factor in how Okoti's been taught this whole entire time as well. Yeah, because I kind of feel like that's also like a pivotal part of its arc as well as a Kozi, in the way he's actually been taught this entire time. Like a lot of it's like dismantling that, and now he's at the center of it as well. It's a very interesting way of doing it. I've been waiting for that moment. Holy shit! I've been waiting for that. Fuck yeah! Did they change the line? Because he says "pray for me" in the manga. Okay, yeah, they have nailed this episode completely. Okay, now this is the episode. This is the episode. They were holding it back for this episode. Holy shit! God, he's so fucking cool. He's so fucking cool. God, this show is so fucking good. this show, this show is so fucking good. I bet Count Pice must be like, I didn't expect that today. Honestly, didn't expect that to happen today. I do actually like Okozi's character in this episode. Well, I like him anyway, but you know what I mean. It just he's one of those people that he's slowly starting to kind of find that that hope in a way. In a way, like his whole entire character's been deconstructed, been dismantled, and he's now slowly starting to kind of get his own will on this world and actually what he wants to see. It's kind of nice to see that as well. The idea, like how he was initially like hesitant, but then he actually has, as the cool kids say, lock the fuck in. Yeah, really, they went above and beyond this episode. Holy shit. So I'm guessing we're ending volume 3 today, which does kind of make me wonder how they might adapt to volume 4 and 5, and where that also leads on the core. What I do actually kind of feel like this show does also show is the idea of like how, of course, he does mention it, the idea of like every single person he saw died not with not content. That's what I was looking for. Um, Only when he saw the heretic did he actually have the face of a content person. Then he saw when his friend died that once again died contented because his will lives on. And the same thing now applies with Pius as well. Because I kind of feel like Pius, he doesn't die like I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of shit's happened to him that might, in theory, like make you go, "Holy shit, the poor dude." But isn't that whole scene didn't feel depressing or anything? It kind of felt a bit. I don't know what the correct term is, but it felt different in a way. I kind of like that aspect. It does sort of carry that theme on it in a way. But yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like this is actually probably the best episode since episode 3 when it comes to adaptation. And subsequently, also the way it looks as well. I kind of feel like they're actually locked in with this episode. Don't get me wrong, there is still. I don't know whether or not it might just be in a translation, and it might still say "pray for me" because I swear the manga says "pray for me" at that point. And that's the only thing I was a bit like eyebrow raised on. But besides that, absolutely fine. Great episode overall. I love it. I just love because he's like involvement into this whole entire arc. 'Cause like he says, he's a character who's this whole entire time said that he doesn't really know much what's going on here. A lot of things are harder for him, but in a way, he's slowly started to kind of come out of the shell he was in, due to what he's been taught. Don't get me wrong; it's not because he's not in that shell because of his own thing. It's kind of what he's been taught. But when he was initially hesitant and actually didn't really want to do anything because by all accounts, if you are taught one thing and then something else comes along makes you go, wait a minute, you would be initially hesitant to actually kind of accept it. But him as a person, he's accepting. He begun to slowly accept it. He doesn't want to turn himself away. And then at the end of it all, actually like doing that moment where he says, "I want to see a full Venus." Like it is, you wouldn't have associated with that with the prior episode of Akaze, well, not the prior episode of Akaze. This was like the Akaze that has actually slowly started to kind of accept there is more here and actually find that hope he was looking for. Because again, it's this idea of finding hope in a way. I kind of feel like he's finding that hope then. I actually kind of like that about this episode as well because it is about the heliocentric model and everything like that, actually seeing that full Venus, but the center of it all, pardon the pun, is Akazi's character as well. I actually kind of like how the show does that. I got to sort of try and make puns about the world because I was going to say it rolls around. I was like, that's a pun as well. But it's the idea like it's how he involves everyone into the arc itself. It's not just one. It's not one character or two characters. Every single character plays a piece. Is a piece in this whole entire puzzle. I like that because no single character feels wasted. Every character has a role in this arc, and it actually is great to see that. I mean, even characters we've only had like maybe 20 minutes with Count Pius, for example, is a prime example of that. And then it goes on from there. It's just this show does an amazing job with every single character. You just don't see this too often. You don't see characters this well fleshed out in such a short space of time, and also don't feel wasted. Because again, don't get me wrong, there's characters that have been introduced in other shows that you're like, oh my god, they're an amazing character. I want to see more of them, and you don't see them ever again. This show does it in such a way that you understand to why the character is there, what their role is, and what they will do towards the overall completion of this whole entire model. And I like that because it's one of those things that it really goes above and beyond, because you feel more connected to these characters because you know they won't disappear anytime soon. They have a role in this world, and this show does always perpetuate that idea, the idea that everyone has a role here. No one is to be disregarded. Everyone has a role in this world, and it's kind of a beautiful thing because of it. Because again, it's one of those things that other shows and movies, as I said during the stream itself, if it's about one character or a group of, say, a small group of characters, you only ever get to see them and them only. But every single character in the show feels to a degree fleshed out. You feel connected to them. Kolb is not one of those examples because he's a very smelly person, but you know what I mean. And it only becomes more apparent later on. This is like a peak fiction episode of the show, but this isn't when the show peaks. The show peaks even more. It just keeps going. Like I can't understand how this show does it. Like no single episode ever feels like, well, what was the episode for? Every episode just serves something, and it's just one of those things that I just need more shows like this in life, man. I need more shows like this. I want shows that just give me the good shit all the time, and this show gives me the good shit all the time. And even the production was amazing as well. Like it was amazing. The close-ups were great with Jolenta as well. That part where she was talking about the about reading and writing as well. That whole entire part looked amazing as well. The part where Cozy gazes upon Venus as well was another prime example of like it looking amazing. This is what I wanted to see in this show since episode 3, and I kind of like that they did actually go actually did in theory lock in its episode. So yeah, I mean, God help me, this whole entire show only goes up from here because it just does. It's so good. So I can't wait to see how they adapt volume 4 and 5, because oh boy, it's gonna be a dicey one. So yeah, that is me done for today. So as always, if you actually have enjoyed this entire stream as a whole on Twitch, and as always, do leave a follow on Twitch where you do see these streams live. You actually have then enjoyed this entire stream as a whole on YouTube as well, and as always, do leave a like. It does help quite a bit. Leave a sub as well, both do help quite a lot. Actually have then enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and as always, do follow me on Twitter. Does help quite a bit. Also, actually will then know when he streams go live, and any other streams I may do as well. So until next episode 10 of Orb on the Movements of the Earth, I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.